Hello everyone, Samaritxn here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new video, and we're going to be talking about my thoughts on Halo 5. And the reason this was brought up is just because I've heard a lot of different critiques about the game, and things that people wanted to see, and just overall thoughts. And I wanted to chime in on this, especially now that I saw this forum post that Venom's actually added Atman in. Something that I thought was really interesting. Basically, what it I'm gonna read some of the things here after I see if I can get this multi. Alright, rip. Okay, so question 1 says 100% say that changes are necessary. This isn't a surprise. Question 2, 82% no radar. I expected this, but hopefully it's a wide enough margin to open up some eyes, which I do agree with. Yes, I agree. Just talking over the first two questions. Yes, I agree with changes. There more than likely always needs to be changes that need to be made to a game, as well as the idea of no radar is good. But I'm going to add something to that, and that basically is there should be no radar if there was no Spartan charge. If there's no Spartan charge, then I personally don't think that there is any need for radar in the game at all. But since Spartan Charge is there, it's a necessity in my opinion. Alrighty, 68% like autos in the game. 32% do not like them at all. However, 82%, while about the same same as no radar, think that autos as they exist now are not good for competitive Halo. And I will agree to this. I think that they are too much of a power weapon at this point, and if you think about the Storm Rifle and how it was off launch, they fixed it because the pros kept complaining about how much it was used over, say, the Magnum or the BR, and that's why I agree that the autos really need to be adjusted. In my opinion, I would put Magnum starts, ARs as the pickup, and put like one SMG on the map, just because the Storm Rifle is just too OP. It doesn't really have a place, uh, in my opinion, in Halo 5 competitively. I'm talking, I really am talking from a competitive standpoint, less about a casual standpoint, just because that's what I really focus on. That's what I'm into. That sounds weird enough to say, but yeah, that's just what I focus on because I enjoy being a competitive player. Uh, okay, let me read this next question. Surprised to see no one saying the Magnum is too weak, given how often BRs and DMRs are mentioned. I'm reading these questions and not looking at where I'm going, so I'm sorry. I probably should have done a post commentary, but I really wanted to work on my live comms, and this was one way of doing it. I'm actually gonna grab this OS. So basically, what this guy is saying is that he was really surprised that Magnum starts weren't complained about, seeing as he thought the Magnum was a very weak starting weapon to have. And I would say that that's sort of kind of true, because people who don't know how to use the Magnum effectively are probably the people who are going to get pooped on. And I talk about how I hate Spartan Charge and I do it. Alright. Go hypocrite. But he said it could be biased, forced by questioning order, as well as autos in question 3, so they're out of brain thinking only. So that goes back to kind of what I was saying before. ARs can be like the pickups as far as the autos go, and Magnum can be a power weapon or be the main weapon, and different types of power weapons on the map can be like, and not saying like they're like the main power weapon on the map, like things that you would see on a weapon pad, but just like main guns that you would go for would be like the DMR, the BR, and the carbine. I like how the map that I will give a huge nod to is really Coliseum. Coliseum has two DMRs, which are pretty difficult to use, as well as one BR that's really out of place. So really it forces Magnum fights The carbine isn't really easy to use. You really have to hit your shots if you want to get a kill. I honestly, like, I'm so bad with the carbine that it's just if I get into a Magnum fight and I'm not at long range with the carbine, I don't feel comfortable. That goes with this weapon as well. I would say that I don't see the light rifle as a problem just because not many people acknowledge how good the light rifle is, and therefore it's not really a problem. I don't see anyone really complaining about it. So let's move on to this next question. Okay, question. Okay. Okay, question 5. 6% of people forgot Stasis CTF even exists because they haven't played it for a month. That's just because, and this is kind of well known throughout the entire competitive Halo community, that since the update, really CTF spawns have been broken. People complain about Fathom, which used to be the favorite game type for CTF, and now it's just kind of a crap show, honestly. I watched Lethal's stream once. If you don't know who Lethal is, he's a competitive player and on the best team in the world, and like he straight up just got like he either got backsmacked or he smacked someone in the back, and like he spawned right behind this dude at their elbow on Fathom, and it's been really bad. And Stasis hasn't been as great either. I argue a lot actually that you can manipulate spawns. Blue side can lose, and I mean I've won on blue side against a pretty solid team. So I don't doubt that people just can't make that work, but I understand that blue side still has a better side. I acknowledge that is very uneven, just because of the route that you have to take instead, going through blue side. So I understand that completely. Question 6, surprised to see some people want online pro league gone entirely. I don't agree with this. I don't think that right now Halo's in the set where it can run tons of LAN events and do extremely well competitively. I think online pro league gives the developers more things to do. It shows that they're more professional. Like and that's really what it comes down to, is just esports just trying to look more professional to other sports, and that's why they run these pro leagues, because that's how that's how it's done in actual sports. You have a league. Unfortunately, Halo isn't big enough to where it can run its league, at a live event every week. That's just not how it is right now. But hopefully we'll get back to that state one day. Oh, I didn't charge it up enough. Okay, so question 7. 90% of pros want MLG evolved in some way, shape, or form. Come on, 343. I agree with this, but at the same time, I don't see. I see the reason for a complaint, but at the same time, I don't. And this is because ESL is putting their hand in what the Pro League is doing, and honestly, ESL is way bigger than MLG. They run basically all events for all different console esports. MLG, they have there's a soft spot in Halo with MLG, and that's just because of the history that they have, and you can't really take that away. Spartan charge, god damn it. But I do understand, but at the same time, that's not something that I'm personally worried about, just because we have someone running the Pro League, we have people running the events. Esports Arena has come in, and that kind of leaves me to question, why not bring in MLG? Is MLG under some kind of contracts with different things? Because if you remember at the beginning of Nationals, MLG was involved. They were heavily involved, actually, and I know vaguely of what happened. I don't know if I'm allowed to say just because of the certain caster that told me or gave me hints to why they weren't able to continue on with Halo. Uh, but just to put in short, it seemed like MLG had other things in mind. Again, I'm not gonna, release who told me that, but you guys get the idea that there was just different plans and things didn't work out the way that they wanted to. And unfortunately, MLG wasn't able to get in there, which really sucks because that's where they came from. I understand that people want that old nostalgic feeling, and that goes just as much for myself. Like, I came from COD, I go to Halo, and then I'm hearing that Benson's over here about to be casting, and that was gonna be dumb lit. And like that really sucks that that just didn't pan out the way that it could have, and you just kind of hold your L at the end of the day. So my overall thoughts about this, I stopped to read the question right as three people were right in front of me. It was really unfortunate. What do I think about this in total? I think that uh, I mean, some of the complaints on here are valid. I really like that. Uh, I'll leave a link to the thread, but basically it was a poll. And someone on Team Beyond on the threads was like, "All right, we're gonna run a poll and we're gonna see what people think about Halo now, and their ideas and how they want to do certain things," which I thought was really neat. I don't have any like hate towards this guy at all. I'm not like, oh my god, he was about 343. Like, I really want what's best for Halo. I don't think 343 is doing a bad job, but I also don't think that. I think that some things have been overlooked. So, such as social playlist. I talked in my last video about how I wasn't playing much social on Halo 5 just because there isn't much to do socially on Halo 5. So that was something that I kind of really got an eye opener for. Get Jack nerd. Please don't Jack me back. Getting out of this. This guy. So that was a really big eye opener. Just playing a ton of Halo Reach and MCC. I just really appreciated, the idea of team snipers, and I know that Cole has made a video about team snipers, like where it at do, and other people have made lots of comments about how it's not in the game. So I understand that. Um, there's some things that 343 isn't fixing, but and I had this conversation on Twitter before that saying that they don't care or that they're not putting any effort into it is not something that you can really claim as a factual statement. And the reason I say that is because you really don't know what's going on there. Any suicide, GG. Anything could be happening. They could be working on the next thing that people want, and it's just left to us for a surprise. Do I think that 343 should be updating us on what they're doing just to give us an idea of what to look forward to? Yes, I do think that 100%. Whenever they made the change to Breakout, they didn't notify anyone, and it really just caught people by surprise, and honestly I think that was really messed up. And now it came back as a ranked playlist with different changes, and without a preview, and other things were put through can't talk. Other things have been put through a preview, but Breakout wasn't, and maybe they thought, well, it's not that big of a thing, so why would we need to do a preview? Which is understandable, but at the same time, you always want to make sure that what you're putting in is a good thing for the community, and really focus on trying to be better, and getting criticism from your fans is the best way to do that. So with that said, I think that really puts out everything that I say, or that I said. One thing, again, I'll go back and say about question 4 on this poll was, the guy talks about how he thinks the Magnum is too weak. I think that the Magnum is one of the hardest weapons to use. I would say that, of course, the Halo 3 starting, the Halo 3 BR is the hardest weapon to use as far as starting weapons go in MLG. The next, I would say, the pistol, just because it's not a precision weapon. At a certain time, at a certain range, you don't get any ADS, or you don't get any aim assist. It's all your pure shot, and that gets really difficult. And compared to the other weapons that are in Halo 5, so I think that it was the best one to be in there. I think the BR is way too easy. DMR you can maybe put in there. It shoots a little fast, has more aim assist. I don't know. Carbine would just be really weird to put in there. So I think that's about all I have to say. Overall, I think Halo 5 competitively is at an okay stage. They've made enough changes to where they can kind of settle for a little bit, but in a perfect world, I kind of explained how I would want, things to be set up, but, my way is not always going to be the way that's taken. All right, guys. I was rambling here for a minute, and this has been 16-minute video, and I will see you guys in the next one.